you're seeing here is that he's got that left arm free. Rubel's able to keep that arm moving, that left arm. He's pressing up on the mat. He's moving away from it. The minute we saw that left arm get sucked in by McDaniel, caught under his left knee, he wasn't able to get up anymore. With the left arm free, you're able to push away a bit. You saw that arm get covered. They had the match, and now we have the first pin in any match so far today.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of wrestling here today from Alumni Arena, and we will continue with that here as after McDaniel gets the pin at 149, we will see Dakota Morris at 157, taking on the very talented Joey Blaze. He's another one of the names that Army head coach Kevin Ward talked about in terms of like scouting the opponent, and he called him just, quite frankly, a very skilled wrestler. At 157, he is at times dominant, and it's going to be a tough battle for Dakota Morris to try to fight through that. However, Morris has a couple of successful bouts of his own. He's 4-2 in terms of win-loss record, is 0-1 so far on the season. And right now, just about a minute into this first period, you'll see how Blaze attacks this one as well after he was the first decision of the match against the Bulls earlier today after the Boilermakers started things out with 4 straight technical falls. That decision was a narrow match that was really battled through the entire time, and you can credit Caleb Burgess at 157 for the Bulls for sort of keeping Blaze at bay, which when someone's as talented and athletic as Blaze is, that sometimes all you can do is just try to limit the amount of opportunities they're going to get.
Absolutely, Vinny. You just have to keep them away, and we saw that in the UB match in the back half of the day, in the back 4 or 5 weight classes. We're going to see that again today so far early on, but it should be noted very briefly as you watch these wrestlers, they're still feeling each other out. Both head coaches, both for Army and Kevin Ward and Tony Ersland of Purdue, wrestled under some pretty legendary guys. Ersland wrestling under Dan Gable, the legendary Iowa head coach, multiple time national champion. He's able to bring that style to his room. On the other side, Kevin Ward, John Smith, Oklahoma State's head coach, multiple time national champion. Both men wrestled and then coached under those guys as well. So you talk about bringing 2 legendary wrestling coaches into one team, bringing that philosophy, and both coaches said it. The things he taught me, I still carry today about working hard, following through, setting the tempo of a match, just how to live life as a coach, human, and as a wrestling coach. They still bring to their teams later, both 20-plus years down the road.
Yeah, and a history of success as well, as we remain deadlocked at 0 points for the time being, but now an opportunity for points here between Blaze and Morris. Morris has the advantage as Blaze is down at the mat right now. He's got that right leg, Morris does, right underneath the crook of his elbow, and then now they will call that a stalemate and allow them to readdress things with 19 seconds left to go. I was admittedly typing up some of these notes a bit late at night, so it took me a second to comprehend whether I had misread this or not. But both of these head coaches were part of 4 straight conference title teams.
Correct, yes.
Kevin Ward with Oklahoma State from 2003 to 2006, and Tony Ersland with Iowa from 94, I should say, all the way to 97. And so, in addition to that, perhaps more impressive, Coach Ward, 4 national championship teams, and Coach Ersland, 3 national championship teams. So almost as good as it can physically get in terms of team success. Both of these head coaches have experienced that. And, of course, credit to that goes to the head coaches of those legendary programs. But when you have that experience and you have that mindset of success, it really leads to an advantage when you are able to eventually run a program of your own. And we are seeing that with how under the last decade at Army, they've had some of their best years in the program's history. And under the last decade in a year at Purdue, they've had some of the best years in the program's history. Credit to these 2 head coaches for those reasons. First point of this 157 is earned, and it is earned by Joey Blaze. He works himself to a position on top here. And for the first time, I honestly am interested in what that riding time is going to come into play, because both of these wrestlers have had spots where they have been in control. And now only here in this second period and almost halfway through it, it's Blaze who right now is on top trying to get more points against Morris.
It is, but he's got a quick 4-point swing with the escape and that, but also it went quickly. You saw Kevin Chrysler throw his hands up quickly. Right after the 3-point takedown, Morris was issued a stalling warning. So now you're playing with a riding time bonus, a potential stalling point getting awarded to your team now. You find yourself in a tricky situation here, as again, we're at the edge of the mat. We're pulled away. Blaze has been trying to keep him center. Morris trying to push him away. You're at a point now where this could slowly get away from you quickly if you can't start to get the tempo back to your way.
Still knotted together on the far side of the mat here at Alumni Arena in the fifth match of this duel between the Purdue Boilermakers and the Army West Point Black Knights. Both of these teams traveling into Buffalo, New York for today's triple header here, hosted by the UB Bulls and new head coach Donnie Vinson. And we will see the Bulls back in action against Army after the conclusion of this battle between these two programs. And as the buzzer sounds after the second period, it is Joey Blaze earning himself a 4-point advantage, as we'll take a look. And we're here earned those points here, getting himself back on top and earning that takedown.
Now look at this. Look at where he positions his arm. He has it under here. So all he has to do is get around. He's got an anchor point. He's got the anchor. He just needs to bring himself around.
Lost circulation on my left arm there for a second. You must have been really good at this back in high school. Were you a guy, a lot of falls? You a pins guy?
I'll be honest. I had a 10-10 record my sophomore year.
Hey, that's 10 wins.
I was 500 on the year my sophomore season.
10 wins is better than no wins.
You know what? You could say that. You could say that. And I'd say those 10, 6 were pins. But now, we got a high-risk, high-reward scenario here. We saw Blaze start just with his hands pushed back. When you reach a moment like that, that signifies you're okay if he gets a bit of an escape, because he's going to shoot. And look at that. He's aggressive right away. He doesn't want the riding time. He wants the points from takedowns, so that's why you start in that position. You want takedown points, not just riding time points.
Yeah, Joey Blaze was a true freshman last year who earned wins nationally against number 3, 4, and 5 wrestlers at the weight class. And the Purdue coaching staff said they just wanted to improve his attack rate. They wanted him getting at guys' legs more effectively and quicker because he's so good at hand fighting. And while that's certainly an advantage, they want him to really be able to close out these matches. And you can see here as he's grappling with that left leg of Morris, his ability to attack has right now given him a 4-point advantage. But Norris continues to fight back, as now with just over a minute to go here left to go in this third period, it's going to be Dakota Morris who's able to try to work himself back in a spot on the bottom, and Blaze extends the points.
Now, if you're Blaze, there needs to be a conversation, and this is what I expect him to do. You're going to cut him loose, let him get an escape. If you get another takedown, you're up 11-2. That's a 9-point victory, and you're down by 7. You need a major decision here. You cannot walk away with 3 points. This is a match right now that is looking like it's going to come down to the end. So cut him loose, reset, go for a takedown. You're winning the hand fight. Go for a snap and pull him on the side if you can get there. Because if you snap, he's leaving his legs exposed. He sprawls. He went for the sprawl right there, and now we got Blaze back on top.
Blaze, again, more points. And as he does indeed extend that victory to 9, time running out here for Dakota Morris, the sophomore, to try to fight back.
So now he's got him behind. He's holding his neck down, keeping his legs tied up. You don't want to let him sneak out in the last 5 seconds. You have to keep him down. You're only up by 9. You want to make sure you seal it, and he does for that major decision. Vinny, that's going to be a huge 4 points for the Boilermakers as they look to try to get back into this match.
So we'll take a look at what could be a very key last 3 points here earned by the Boilermakers and Joey Blaze, as he's able to get a takedown towards the latter stages of that match.